and SPY is holding this pivot point pretty strong here right now. And again, this is an all-time high on the SPY, I believe. Yesterday, yeah, 608.20 was the high on all-time high on the SPY, right here. SPY just kind of bouncing off of this pivot point. We're just kind of watching. I'm basically just in a wait-and-see attitude right now until we see what the market does. Again, I did take a $395, $400 call debit spread expiring tomorrow on APP. It hit 210 for it. I'll probably try to, if it moves up enough, I'll try to get out for around $3 or so. Maybe it depends on how fast it moves. Maybe more than that. Again, it took profits in HUT, which immediately pulled back. But if you, again, as I put out an alert, if you didn't get filled, I would hold on to it. If I didn't get filled on it, I would still be in it. Siva, ACHR, nice pullback setup. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's 804. It's got room to about 1072. I don't know what the options look like in this, but that is a nice little pullback in it. The sell-off was pretty heavy volume, but this thing has been pretty volatile lately. If you look at this move, you notice it was pretty flat through here, and then it basically went parabolic right here. It's a parabolic move, and then it's profit taking here. Now it's trying to bounce again. The thing is, one thing you got to be careful about on these PBO bounces when you got a big red candle like that is a lot of times halfway up that red candle becomes a resistance level. See how it matches the bottom of that candle right there, and pretty much the top of where it is today. You want to see it get through this halfway through this candle. That is a very logical place for people who are entered down here to take profits. So you just have to be very careful about that. But that's one thing I would point out about that. But it is a nice PBO. That's what you said. Yeah, at least halfway up. The big red candle. Yeah, absolutely, Sylvia. Definitely in sync. Again, I added some Fiserv today on this big pullback off of the news. The CEO has been tapped to take over Social Security Administration, so they got to replace the CEO. The stock gapped down like 15%, and then it bounced up. It was down about 5% in the open. I grabbed some calls, $200 calls for January 17th. Paid $9.10 for them. They are now trading at $10.75. I get out of HUT at $8. It's back down to $6.20. This thing is really volatile today. It moved way up, and pulled back pretty hard. Again, if you didn't get filled, I would stay in it personally. Took profits in Palantir this morning as well. Took profits in the DraftKings Strangler they had on yesterday. And I took a call debit spread on APP app, 395, 400. I paid 210 for it. It's trading at 235 right now. Probably going to set a sell order here for about $3. I would be happy with that. T2104 is still bearish today. SPY just right down to the pivot point, just holding that pivot point. Again, I'm not chasing anything right now, I'm just watching. Except for the app, I put a call debit spread on app. Watching Tesla, just compressing. Nice move up this morning, just compressing. A lot of compression going on right now. Square coming down a little bit. Roblex, which moved up really strongly this morning. Again, I'm not going to chase it up here. Compression right here. Netflix, I took profits in from overnight calls. I had get in at 24, out at 27. Still a nice setup on Netflix, by the way, on the daily chart. See, nice setup in Netflix. SPY bouncing off the pivot point now, finally back up to the VWAP again. Pretty choppy. So you're asking me about the FI Fiserv. Did I add because the 50 SMA held, or because you think it was an overreaction? Well, initially my reaction was it was an overreaction, and it happened to also come right to the 50-day moving average. I thought it was crazy for it to sell off 15% on something on news like that with the CEO and going to the Social Security Administration. So I immediately knew I was going to buy some. I looked and saw where it was, right at the 50-day moving average in the open, so I took the calls there. I mean, I think it was a crazy pullback and a really good opportunity, because our original calls now are underwater. But you know, these things are moving up. If this thing moves up, and it got until January 17th, if it moves back up to where it came from, 215, those will be up a lot. Will be up well up on the trade, overall trade. Welcome, by the way, to the YouTube viewers. Again, I'm Dave. This is the compass or the SPY super system right here. This lets us know whether institutions are in a trade or not in a trade. We use the current time frame momentum right here. Blue and green are bullish, red and yellow are bearish. This is the multi-time frame momentum. Again, red and yellow are bearish. Green and blue are bullish. For the SPY super system, which is a software, which is a methodology we use to trade the SPYs, the Qs, the IWM, both basically the indexes. This is the one I use when I'm looking to take a trade, long or short, for a period of time of, you know, not as a quick scalping type trade, but a trade that I'm going to take at least for the all day or for into the future, overnight, maybe a week or two. Then I always go to the daily chart, and look to see what the stock, what the daily chart looks like, as far as these indicators are concerned, because these are related to the time frame. This is the current time frame, 5 minutes on the SPY. This is the 5, the 15, and the 45. So you can see it's been bearish, but the current time frame is bullish. This tells you that the institutions are starting to come in and buy as the stock is breaking above the VWAP right here, this volume weighted average price. That's a fairly significant level that we use for our SPY super system methodology. A break above that would be bullish. If we went to blue and we're getting a break above that VWAP, which we are right now. But again, it's pulled back pretty hard. So we want to make sure that this trend to the downside doesn't follow through. So right now I'm just kind of watching. And again, we had a pretty good morning here. We took profits in Palantir that we had on for a nice trade. We took Hut off. We had a nice trade on that one in at 580 out at $8. Palantir was a nice trade. I added some Fiserv. This was underwater because of the news this morning, so I added some more January 17th $200 calls this time, not 210, for 910. And those Fiserv calls right now that we added for put on for 910 are trading at 1055 at the moment, up about $1.50. Traded some Netflix overnight, made some nice profits in Netflix overnight. And right now I'm in an APP call debit spread. APP call debit spread. Expiring tomorrow with 395.400. I paid 210 for it. And again, it can go to $5. I'll get a sell order in at 3. 395.400 on app. App is a beautiful setup. If I look at the daily chart on this thing, what you're going to see is just a beautiful compression and a nice move up here, green across the board. Institutions buying the heck out of this thing. All right, that's what we're looking at. I haven't really done much this morning except take profits, except taking the app trade, the APP call debit spread. Looking to take some SPY calls here if we get if this VWAP holds. Doug, the pivot point in the SPY worked like a charm where you get out for a small profit. Good job. Yeah, the pivot points, this is the only one I keep on here. There was a couple of other ones, but I took them off. This white one works really pretty well. It's a good support and resistance level. It's a nice one. It'll break through sometimes, but you know it's a pretty nice one. Looking at the triple Qs is also bouncing right now. IWM, which has been kind of flaky, it went down to this has been weak on the daily chart, and it went right down to a support level, right through the 8 and right down to a horizontal support level. It's trying to bounce right now. Tristan, do I like Kava for a PBO? Pullback opportunity. Yeah, it's not bad. It's a decent setup. This big red candle, which is a blue candle here. I don't know if that was earnings or what. That's a pretty big sell-off right there. Probably earnings. 11.13 to 2.24. Yeah, and then it's pulled back, but it is pulling up here. This algo line right there, I need to take that off. That doesn't. That's not valid anymore. This is more valid. It's way down there. All right, so yeah, it's a decent PBO. But you know, I don't know. It's okay. This is weird price action here. I'm not thrilled with the context of the overall chart. The SPY bouncing off the VWAP here, coming through again. This is in all intents and purposes a SPY super system setup. But remember, you're trading against the trend. SPY is red for the day, just barely, and it's been coming down. So what you're trying to do is get into a new trend that's now starting to the upside. So you got to be careful. If you get in here, if it pulls back to the VWAP, you take your loss. If it keeps going up, you take your profits. Shai, what do I have for Tesla's next resistance? 401.52. You may have some more in between there. Let me look. Next major one is 401.52. Get some minor with 377, about 377. 377 and 401. See, it says I pulled through the VWAP here. Again, this is a choppy day. This is a low probability trading environment, as Joe just said. This is a low probability trading environment. Really pretty crappy trading. Tried to make a move up, failed, pulled right back to the pivot point. Now it's just kind of hovering right around this VWAP. If we look at the other indexes, Q's also slightly red for the day. IWM also quite red for the day. So not much here to trade for the index side. I'm just looking for some individual stocks right now. Again, I thought the best setup was the FI trade this morning, as it bounced off the 50-day moving average after an overreaction to the news. At least I considered it an overreaction. And I did take an APP call debit spread, 395.400, expiring tomorrow. I paid $210 for it. I get a sell order in at $3. Right, I'm going to look at some stocks here, try to find some trades. Again, these are cascading up stocks right here. Three green candles in a row. You have to look at the daily chart to make sure the daily chart's strong. Best American Airlines, it gapped up here this morning pretty big. It's up 14%. So I'm not going to chase it up here, but it's a nice move. JMIA right up against resistance now. MIR had a nice move as well. Airlines are all doing pretty well here this morning. JetBlue with a gap up, pullback, and now a bounce. Taiwan Semi. That's up. This Taiwan has been moving pretty nicely as far as the semis are concerned. Nvidia today is up about $1. It's pretty close to resistance right now. Again, very choppy here. This is very low probability trading environment. What we call an LPTE. It's just chopping here. Pulls above the VWAP, pulls below the VWAP, bounces off the pivot point. Just not really doing anything. Q's not doing much of anything either. And IWM not doing anything. Tesla's had a pretty strong day. Gapped up pretty strong this morning. Pretty tightly compressed here right now. Taiwan Semi is a nice setup, but I'm not going to chase it, but I do like the setup on it. Again, I still like the setup on Netflix on the daily chart, and I like the setup on APP on the daily chart. We're getting a lot of compression right now. Again, we took Palantir off today for a nice profit. I took off HUT, which pulled back immediately after I sold it. So if you didn't get filled, I would hold on to it. I think it's still got some room to the upside. I, of course, could be wrong.
Maybe planning a chat GPT Pro plan for $200 per month.
Eric, do I think COF is PBO? Capital One Financial? Not yet. I mean, it has a, it's trying to set up as a PBO, but you've got to see some. This is not enough to convince me that this downtrend is reversed. Yeah, it's trading. It's right at the 15, but to me, for this to be a PBO, it's got to get above this 8 exponential moving average. This white line right here. It's got to get above that. The volume's crummy, so yeah, it's not. To me, this is not a good setup yet. You're in a bull flag. You see the big bull flag here, and it's been kind of trending sideways, but you got to have some confirmation. PBO does not exist until you have confirmation of the support and then a break to the upside again. This is the kind of price action you want to see for a PBO. I'm not recommending this particular trade, but that's a PBO right there. Pullback opportunity. Bullish trade, stock's bullish, moving up. That's a PBO. Just VWAP holding here on the SPY. There's no trend here. I mean, there's just no trend. And see what we did. Downtrend, uptrend, just moving sideways. So that makes the SPY super system trades less of a high probability trade till we get some confirmation of some sort of a move. If we get any, it just may go like this all day. Again, we have a jobs report tomorrow. So there's also some waiting going on for that. If HUT holds this 28.47 today, at the end of the day, I may buy some more of this today or tomorrow. Get back into it again. I may buy some more. Can we get into it right here? And this move right here this morning doesn't look like much, but that was a big profit for us on this particular trade. So again, if this holds 28.47 with this PBO, then I would be interested in getting back into this again. In the example I showed BK, a potential entry is off the high of previous day's candle or the bull flag breakout. In this example, those are low volume candles, trying to understand the thought process. Okay, yeah, I was just looking for something that was that looked like a PBO, and you know, I don't look at the volume on those things, and the volume is fairly low on this thing, but the candlestick pattern is what I'm talking about. I didn't say that I would take it. I just said that this is what you look for in the PBO, as opposed to something like Capital One, which has not confirmed yet that it's bouncing here. All right, BK is confirmed bounce. I didn't look at the other elements on this thing. You know, if I look at the volumes on here, I don't have an awful lot of high volume candles. You got one here. So theoretically, that is your last high volume candle right there in BK. Because you know, it's breaking out. You know, Bank Mellon is breaking out. This is trying to break above here, but these weren't high volume candles. So it's broken through the high volume candle as well. So no, this is okay. This is okay. Trying to get above the VWAP, fighting it. Not much of a trend day here today. A very low probability trading environment for trades. You have to try to identify some really good setups for long-term trades, longer-term trades. Nothing really jumping out at me right now. Taiwan Semi looks pretty nice, TSM. It's a little extended, but it's putting in a doji sandwich today. But it's above an algo line again. This is the TSM chart. All right, so that's the algo right there. That's actually not valid because it's an earnings candle. So I don't really like that card, but this is a nice setup. When I say a doji sandwich, you get a big candle here. This is actually green, blue on my chart because it's breaking Bollinger Bands are expanding. Then a doji, and then another candle today that typically is going to be possibly the same length as this one, which went from 192 to 199, so about a $7 range. Today we're going from 200 to 204. So typically it's got about $3 to the upside if it completes a doji sandwich today. It's a little extended for me to actually try to take this as a swing right now. I much prefer to take swings when they're bouncing back down off of a support level. Steve, do I still like the daily IONQ? Yeah, it's been kind of sluggish, but I do like the setup on it on IONQ. It's got to get. I'd like to see it get above 35.87. This has been compressing. All right, so this is a nice bull flag. It's kind of drifting up along the 8. Notice it's just following the 8. So yeah, I'm looking for a breakout above this 35.87 level right here. But yeah, it's a nice setup. Still like it long, for sure. Bought a little MSTZ. It's a penny stock. Yeah, that's the 2x inverse ETF on MSTR, which is really volatile as heck. Yeah, I don't know if Bitcoin is topped out short term. It's such a volatile sector. So you know, something like that for a cheap trade like that. This is what he's talking about, MSTZ. This is the MSTR reverse 2x inverse. So basically, this is a bearish trade on MSTR, which is a bearish trade on one of the main Bitcoin stocks here. Because here's MSTR right here. MSTR is $400. But you see, it's sitting right here on the 8 exponential moving average. So I'd be leery of being too short. But if you're just taking a flyer on something like this, it's fine. I don't trade that kind of stuff. Again, very slow market here. This is just, we're just going above and below the VWAP. We're just riding the VWAP on the SPYs. Triple Q is just moving sideways. Again, I'm watching hot for an opportunity to get back in again. I gotta wait to see where it closes close to the end of the day. Netflix still looks good here. I still like app. App is just moving sideways. A lot of stuff just moving sideways right now. A lot of compression. So you gotta be careful if you're taking like 0 DTEs or anything on the SPY. I would at this point I'd go out to tomorrow because you don't want to get time decayed to death on any kind of compression today. SPY trying to bounce again. It's this is an all-time high here that it's put in this morning. See if it runs up toward that. Hard to know. Palantir still looking nice. Took profits in it this morning. Still looks nice though. Daily chart really looks good. There's a SPY with a little pop. Microsoft looks strong to you, Ali? Let me take a look. Microsoft, yeah, it's right at resistance, right at a high volume resistance line right there. So you know it's slightly above it, but barely. So just be careful. I wouldn't be chasing it up here personally, even though it's got room to 450. because it's getting a little extended for me. But CRDO, Weldon, CRDO. Yeah, this is an interesting one. Again, this is a big gap up on a big bull flag here, and it's just kind of moving sideways. But this is a nice setup. I just don't know whether it's going to continue up from here or not. Hard to say. I think a breakout at the top of that candle right there, 75.30 would be good. These are pretty big candles, by the way. This candle here goes from $64 to $72. That's an $8 range, so it's a pretty nice setup on here. I haven't looked at the options on it, but I do like the setup on it. I mean, this looks like it's got some legs to it. A lot of times when they gap like this, they'll kind of move sideways until the 8 catches up. And they'll either pull back a little bit or they'll wait till the 8 catches up and then they'll move ahead. So, but I like that nice look on that one, Weldon, really. And let's see what the options look like on CRDO. Just monthlies, So you probably would want to go out to January on it. How expensive are they? $65 calls. They have $5 range between all the strikes. The $65 right now are about $10.20 for the 65s. So you've got about $6, about almost $7 of intrinsic value in this 674. If you like that, that's not bad. I mean, again, I'd like to see a breakout on this thing, but I do like the setup on this a lot. This is a really nice setup. Don't know anything about the company, but that's a really nice setup. Nice look on that one. I'd consider the January 17th and CIDO, the January 17th $65 calls at 10:10 by 10:30. The spread's pretty good. There's a lot of, you're paying for quite a bit of time, but still you've got a month and 3 weeks or something to that. So I like that. Again, you'd want to see it break through eventually, but this is a nice setup. The 8's moving up. It's kind of moving sideways. You might be a little early if you get in today, but still a nice setup on it. Thanks, Weldon. Appreciate that. It's about 12:05 right now. See anything happening here? We get folks watching on YouTube. I appreciate everybody watching on YouTube. Again, this is the Compass system on the SPY Super System software that runs on thinkorswim. You don't have to trade on thinkorswim. This is where I get my indicators from to let me know if the institutions are in a trade or not. Green and blue, they're spying. Red and yellow, they're selling. And right now the SPY, you can see, is trying to move above the VWAP. This is the volume weighted average prices, pink line. Very important level on the 5-minute chart. This is what we use on our SPY Super System to trade indexes. Like this would be a buy on the SPY right here for a quick trade. As it comes above the VWAP, breaks above right here. This is green, so it's bullish, and then you use the spot, either the in this case the 15 is this green line, and the VWAP's the pink. They're both about the same level, but you would use the VWAP as your stop if you get into this trade. This SPY Super System methodology is really it's been extremely impressive as far as the results it's produced. As long as you stick to the criteria and don't just don't take any trade that pops up. You've got to look at the price action and determine what kind of size position you're going to take, and whether you want to take it. You basically want to follow a trend if you can. The SPY is green for the day, but just barely. But it's very choppy. So this isn't a high probability, but it's a decent setup on the SPY super system right here. And again, it's been for me, it's been producing results of in the neighborhood of about 85 to 90% wins, just like a lot of the other ones. But the nice thing about it is, if you get in very close to the support level, your losses are going to be small. So I've got a profit factor, which tells you how much how much you're making. A profit factor is a dollar wins and loss wins. Divide the dollar wins by the loss wins average, and you come up with a 1 profit factor is break even. A 2 would be 2 to 1. This is producing a little bit over 6 right now on the SPY super systems, but that's mine based on the trades that I take, and I'm pretty specific about the ones I take. I don't take a lot of these trades that are on choppiness. This one I would take, but I would take it small. Goes the SPY. So if you're in the SPY super system here now, you're watching to see, you're looking again, you've got the all-time high right up here. You're looking to see if we start to lose momentum. You start to lose momentum, you take profits in it. close to that 608.20. Starts to lose momentum here. I'll take the rest of the trade off. All right, I took my calls off on the SPY super system out of it. 25 cents, not bad. And again, I'm out of the SPY calls. We'll see what happens here at the all-time high, but I did take profits on that SPY super system. Methodology, again, this has been pretty successful for me. But you got to be really nimble on these trades. You got to be very specific in the setups that you take. Again, you had current time frame momentum here, green and blue, so the institutions were buying. You get a break above the VWAP right here with this pop out of the box telling us that we get a compression break. You take it here, and I'm out now. Get too close to the all-time high right here at 608.20. Took the profits. Right, so I'm out of the trade, and that's how I take these SPY super system trades. You know, sometimes I'll have 2 or 3 a day, sometimes 4 a day, sometimes none. But last month I was I think 48 wins and about 3 losses. So it's pretty effective. But again, I have a video on the strategy and the setups. It's really important to follow those. Again, I do have the app. It's called Debit Spread on the 395 400. I paid $210 for it. Right now it's going for $235. I got a $3 sell order in there. I don't know if it'll get there. You know, I may take it off before then. I'm also watching HUT to try to do a re-entry in HUT. It's trading at 570 right now, which is pretty much what we get in initially. So I'm watching that 2847 level, 2847 level on the HUT. That is the support level that it needs to stay above. It's trading at 2849 right now. And I did take FI this morning, Fiserv. I added some $200 calls for January 17th. Paid $9.10 for them. This is on the news where it pulled back hard. We're in the trade initially. I paid $9.10 for them. They're trading at $10.70. And for anybody who was in Netflix with me overnight, I got in those yesterday at $24, $2,400, and I got out at $2,700. Took $300 contract profit this morning on those. And I did get out of HUT at 8, which was at this point looks like a really good sell. But again, I'm looking to try to re-enter it again. And Palantir we took off at 880. That's trading at 980 now, so could have got a little bit more, but that was a good sell order for us on that. Right, see if we got any questions. Pretty choppy market here. Journey, you intend to trade individual stocks with SPY super system principles because that setup occurs more often. Yeah, I would. This is what I would say about that, and that's a good strategy. I like it too. I like that idea. The thing is, of course, you're not going to have zero DTE on the stocks, so you're going to have to decide whether you want to hold this thing. I would go to a couple of weeks on the options anyway, just so you can hold the stock if you want to overnight. But what you want to be aware of is the bid-ask spreads on these stocks, because that one of the things that gives you the reason I use this on the SPY super system on the SPYs and the Qs and the IWM is because the spreads are really tight, usually a couple of pennies, and there's a huge amount of volatility in them. A huge amount of volume in them. I have a huge amount of liquidity to get in and out, so I don't get trapped in a trade. When you're trading stocks, be very careful about the bid-ask spread on the stock that you take. Give yourself a little bit of time on them. All right, but using that particular setup on that SPY super system on individual stocks is fine. I mean, I like that. I do like that. Just it's the options that's going to make it a little bit trickier than trading the indexes. Okay. It's about 12:20. I'm going to take lunch in about 10 minutes. And I'll stop the YouTube feed at that point in time, but I appreciate all the YouTube folks out here watching the trading. Again, I did trade the SPY Super System today just now off of this move right here. I took it. I made about a quarter on it. So that's good. Again, it got very close to the all-time high. Again, I added FI today. I took some more calls in FI. I took the 900 calls. I'm sorry, the whoops. See the $200 calls, and I paid $9.10 for them. We have an original FI trade here on it, the 210 calls that we bought back a while back. These are good till January, and then they had news this morning that the CEO was being tapped to take over the Social Security Administration, which of course the stock plummeted like crazy, in my opinion, ridiculously. So I immediately picked up some calls on it this morning, the $200 calls for 910 expiring January 17th. So now I've got two sets of Fiserv calls. Spot, a nice PBO, AJ. Yeah, if it confirms, Again, it's trying to confirm right now. You want to make sure you want to kind of see a green candle today. It's bouncing off the 8, I understand, so I can see that that's a nice PBO setup, and I like the setup on Spotify. This is really a nice setup. It's a nice movie. This is a huge volume candle here. I don't know where that came from, but this is a nice setup. And Spot's a nice setup. I think you could probably actually take it here just based on this candle so far today if you liked it. IONQ, Ali, nice recovery. Yeah, I mean, I like this IONQ. It needs to get above this 35.87, which it's above right now. It's trading at 36.12, but a breakout on IONQ here would be very nice. I mean, I haven't even set a sell order on this, and I need to do that. I need to have something in there working, so I'm going to take a look at it here in a minute and see what I want to do with this one. IONQ is trading at about 520 right now, which is, we paid $5.90 for it. So I'm looking for a break here. I'm going to put a $6.90 sell order on it just to have something working in case we get any kind of a gap or a big move. Okay, $6.90 on the IONQ sell order, just to put it in to get it working.
Peloton, PTON, fitness startup ladder comes after Peloton for allegedly copying their app. That's coming from TechCrunch.
So $6.90 sell order on this IONQ. hasn't really been doing much lately, but it is trying to break out right now. So a lot of times when they break out, they'll keep moving, and you want to make sure you have a sell order in place. 35.87 is the breakout level here. $35.87 right there. So got some good volume here lately. Dropping off a little bit here. I'd like to see a nice big candle to push it through, but we're getting we are breaking that 35.87. All right, so that's why I want to have an order in, just in case we get like a hot move. Shy pointing out that Amazon is back to the all-time high. Yep, nice move in Amazon the last 3 or 4 days.
On BA Boeing, U.S. Court rejects plea agreement in Boeing case in district court.
FI pulling back a little bit here. SPY still trying to get to that all-time high that we had here this morning, 608.20. Again, I'm out of my SPY calls here. I'll be looking for another setup. Again, this is a pretty low probability trading environment today. This is not a great trending trade. It's very slow. We have a jobs report in the morning coming out at 8:30, non-farm payroll. So the market's waiting on that. So again, you have to be very selective. You want to keep your position sizes relatively small today. Keep your profit targets pretty tight. In other words, be fairly passive as far as how much profit you take on a trade. And I'm still looking at the app here, starting to move back up again. I get the 395 400 on call debit spread on app. Shy pointing out FI getting close to the view app. Yeah, I saw that just a second ago. I'm not going to worry about this too much of an FI. I mean, I've got it in here for January. I mean, if I got a big move up today, if it moved up to 210 or 212 or something, I would probably take profits in it and wait to try to get a pullback in it to re-add to it. And if it keeps going, I don't really care because I've still got some additional calls at 210. Yeah, you're pointing to it to an add-on. Yeah, I get you. QA Cooks, is Bank of America a good PBO? Let's take a look. The banks have been doing pretty well here. Yeah, it's a decent PBO. It's bouncing. It's above the 8. What you want to do is you want to make sure it stays above the 8, right here on the close today. So that's a decent one. Again, this stock doesn't move a lot. You know, these are not big candles. Today's low 46.40, high 47.24, 46.50 to 47.24. These are Bank of America doesn't move a lot, but that's a decent PBO. It looks like it's forming a hammer on the D1. Yeah, it's forming a hammer here on the daily, trying to. But you've got this is a bull flag. See the bull flag right here, right there on that big candle, big volume kind of tapering as the stock moves sideways. It's just following the 8. But I like it, and again, the options will probably be pretty cheap and pretty tight because this doesn't move an awful lot. But that's a nice PBO setup. Yes. Thanks, Ed. QA. Yeah, bull flag. Yeah, it's a bull flag for sure. All right, coming up at 12:30, I'm going to get some lunch. I'll go ahead and stop the YouTube feed. QA Cooks, yep, you're welcome, no problem. It looked like exactly what you said it was. It's a PBO with a bull flag. Again, it doesn't move a lot, so you know the options are, you're not going to get huge moves in the stock, but the options are probably pretty tightly spread as well. So we won't pay a lot for them. All right, so I'm going to close up the YouTube feed. Thanks so much, YouTube feed folks, for watching. I appreciate it. And we'll be back tomorrow. Try to do it every day.